We want to talk about our United States Attorney General, who is William Barr. Bill Barr is the Attorney General. He was, of course, appointed by Trump, and he has been in there for a long time. He has become sort of a figurehead of the Trump administration in many ways. He's responsible for a lot of what we're seeing take place in the U.S. Attorney's Office, which is overseeing cases against Roger Stone and General Flynn. We've got, the Russian collusion investigation, basically anything that's happening on a national scale that involves justice. The Attorney General, who runs the Department of Justice, is in charge of those things. And so Bill Barr obviously has a lot of fire coming from all different sides, right? On the one hand, you've got all of the Democrats and sort of the liberal wing, Antifa, the protesters, the BLM groups, who are very upset about some of the activities that he has undertaken as head of the department. And on the other side, you've got Trump. You've got Trump and the Trump administration, who also, have a lot of problems with Bill Barr because he is sort of not doing everything that he expects him to be doing. And so that's who we're talking about. He was the subject of the the House Judiciary Committee. I'm probably going to do that multiple times here because I'm just used to saying Senate Judiciary Committee because of the nominations. Judge Kavanaugh, Judge Roberts, Justice Gorsuch were all, they go through the Senate Judiciary Committee in order to be on the Supreme Court. But we're not talking about the Senate. We're talking about the House, and it's really an oversight committee. And so let's talk about what the Attorney General does, and then we'll explain why he was there in front of this House committee. So here is technically what the Attorney General is supposed to do. The main role is to represent the United States in legal matters, to advise the president, and to supervise and direct the executive departments of the government. And some of the duties include supervising the representation of the U.S. government at the Supreme Court. Other courts, foreign and domestic, make recommendations to the president concerning certain appointments to the federal judicial branch, U.S. attorneys, U.S. marshals. And so we have a couple examples here of what happened. So during the Obama administration, Eric Holder voiced opinions on waterboarding, the close of Guantanamo Bay, and the transfer of terrorists back onto the homeland. Do you remember that when Barack Obama was president? There was a lot of debate about that. Republicans were up in arms. How can you bring these terrorists back to our country? We had the same type of issues happen under the Bush administration, under George W. Bush's administration, where they were talking about all of these enhanced interrogation techniques and how are we going to be detaining terrorists and so on and so forth. And so that's what William Barr is doing. He is sort of the top cop of the United States. He is the sort of chief law enforcement officer aside from the executive branch, from the president. He's very powerful, very important. He sets a lot of policies, and those policies will then trickle down to the U.S. attorneys who are going into federal courts and enacting those policies. And so when the federal courts are under sort of an attack, as we're seeing in Portland, he is the one who's responsible for dictating what the policy will be, from taking those law enforcement officers from the federal jurisdiction and sending them into Portland. So, of course, somebody in this position, somebody with this history, with this experience, is going to be called in front of the House Judiciary Committee, and they're going to ask him a bunch of questions. Now, if you read the Constitution, you know that we've got three co-equal branches of government, and Congress has a lot of oversight over the different branches. So remember, in civics class or in social studies or whatever you took, we have three co-equal branches of government, and there's a system of checks and balances. The Constitution fleshes out some rules, and they say the president can do this but can't do this. Congress instead can do those things. And Congress has certain oversight over some of the president's decisions. So we see it in the Senate, right? When the president nominates somebody to go onto the Supreme Court, they have to go through a process. They have to get advice and consent of the Senate. That's written in the Constitution. And so they do that, right? The nominees, they go in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. They get grilled on a bunch of questions. We saw this happen with Judge Kavanaugh. We saw this happen with Judge Gorsuch. And they both got nominated and approved by the Senate. Now they are on the Supreme Court. The House has something similar. They have the ability, they've got oversight over certain functions of the executive branch.